Today I'm going to be doing a review of the AXP skid plate compared to the SXS skid plate. I've got an SXS skid plate on this KTM 300XC. I've got an AXP skid plate on this XCF 450, and I also have an SXS skid plate on this Husqvarna TX 300. I also had an AXP skid plate on my 19 KTM 300 TPI. I'm just going to show you some of the differences between the SXS and the AXP skid plates. So you can see it's got an extra piece of plastic there just to wear from the linkage there. Gives you a little extra plastic, a little extra wear there. You can see that on the bottom here of this guy, you can see that there's some bolts there on the SXS, and you can see that there are some bolts as well on the bottom of the AXP. I like the actual drainage here that you can get from the AXP, and you can see on the SXS there's no similar drainage. You can see this guy's got a lot of wear, a lot of sliding. Right off the bat, you can probably tell, hopefully you can tell in the video, that the SXS is quite a bit thinner than the AXP skid plate. And the AXP is a little bit heavier as well, obviously, with that thickness. Real firm and stiff here. And then when you move this guy, just real bendy. One thing I don't like about the SXS is that it kind of sticks down far. We've tried to actually bend this guy back up. Myself riding this bike and my wife riding it, both of us have noticed that because this is so far down here, that it's really easy to actually catch your foot on it. That actually happened to me a couple times in a race where I really went to go, kind of getting after it and catch my foot on this guy here and on the other side as well. And that's not something that I ever experienced with the AXP. This SXS, I actually just, this bolt has been giving me issues here. I've had that fall out now, and you can see that it's a system that goes straight across and then bolts in, and now we've lost that bolt there. These bolts on the bottom have backed out on me on both of my bikes. On the SXS, they've backed out a couple times now, and that's a little bit frustrating. I remember hearing it rattle on my 19 300XC. I'm just going to give you a view of this guy from the other side and see what you can what I'm talking about. Just kind of more flimsy, really easy to bend that. Try to adhere that there to kind of keep it out of the way, but you can see when I let it go, it just kind of goes, and really easy to catch your foot on that guy if you're really kind of going to slam into a corner and just catch your foot on that little bugger or that bugger. So something both my wife and I have noticed riding this bike, significantly thinner. It has held up well, but those bolts have come loose, and I lost a bolt on this one. SXS skid plate on a 2018 Husqvarna TX 300. Can't imagine this would last quite as long as the AXP. It's just quite a bit thinner when you look at it. SXS skid plate, slide plate, linkage guard, protection. And then this guy, one thing I like about this, on the 19s, you can just see, man, it just bolts right into the frame. The frame has got a little area, and they designed it to where it actually bolts right into the frame. They send the hardware there, and it bolts straight into the frame. Just a really good build quality. Like I said, I have this on my 19 XCW TPI 300 as well, and it was just really good build quality. Just hard to see that this one would really have any issues. Really like the venting here and the ability for water and whatnot to come out. You can see it's got some more there, and it's got some bolts there. None of those have ever come loose whatsoever. I've checked them on both of them that I've had on the AXPs, and they've just been really good, really solid little guys there. Just quite a thick build, man. I mean, the way that wraps around and protects your frame, just a lot of material kind of there to protect your bike from taking a solid hit. And on the water pump there, I mean, that is just beefy. I mean, even hitting it with my hand right there, it takes a lot for me to get that to even move in a little bit. Really, really strong material. It's also got a additional slide plate there, extra plastic there, and man, just fits nice and firm up there where you can see this guy just kind of just moves around. It's real flimsy. Man, this guy is just stout and strong, and I really like the way that it mounts up here into the frame as well. It's just really, really good design. They've got this guy, they've got it to where it's bolted into the frame as well on both the front and the rear. Really, really good setup. Can't say enough good about the AXP skid plate. Haven't had any major issues with the SXS. It's just that it's a little more flimsy and missing a bolt there, and the bolts on the bottom have come loose on both of those. Real similar design here. It's got that bar down in there to where it hooks onto your frame instead of goes actually and screws itself into the frame. These bolts here haven't had an issue so much coming loose as more. I've had issues with these guys wobbling loose quite a few times now. It just seems like they I've got Loctite on them, but they just somehow, it's maybe just the impact when it's sliding and it's hitting those guys there. It's just, you can see, hard to tell, but they actually do stick out a little bit to where something can catch and grab on those. My finger is actually catching and grabbing right there. Comparatively, these guys are recessed in, 100% recessed in, and so they're just not going to be able to catch on anything totally recessed in there, and recessed in right there as well. It's really good build quality there. This one is almost identical. It's just got a little bit different than on that 18. This one is actually, maybe it's something they fixed in 19 to where this guy is kind of rotated up a little bit more here and isn't sticking out as bad. Still kind of a little bit of a guy to catch your foot on there, and I have caught my toe there a couple times, but got a nice hole there for water and whatnot to come out. But as you can see on the bottom, no vent holes and whatnot, just like the other one has for water to kind of come out there. Good quality skid plate. They're both good looking skid plates. This guy is just beefy. It's a really, really beefy skid plate, man. The way it mounts, I really like that mounting. Really like how strong and stout that guy is there. Really can't bend those pieces. Just seem like that is just going to take a hit and save just a lot of parts. I mean, how far that comes out on your frame there is pretty impressive. You can just see how much material is there to slide across all that there. Pretty awesome. SXS over here, got a little SXS sticker, kind of comes along there. Much thinner, which is a little bit lighter, but also just more flimsy there. Good design here, kind of just wraps around. Good quality. Just the way that it comes around there, but you can see there that those bolts there, you can just see that they can catch on something, and I think that's potentially why they come loose, because you can just catch stuff, and so then anytime there's movement there, it's a potential for it to come apart there. So SXS skid plate versus the AXP skid plate, and without question, now having two AXPs, two SXS skid plates, at least two, I gotta definitely give it to this AXP. The prices are really similar. This one's easier to come by, real easy to order. You can order it on Rocky Mountain ATV, other websites as well. Super simple to get. The SXS was not as easy to get. I've had to wait for those guys before, and just a little more of a challenge to get. So if it's my money, man, I can just say that I think that the build quality, the design quality is just a bit better on this AXP skid plate. It's going to last longer. For $150, $60, $70 that these things can get up to be, I gotta say, man, this AXP is pretty beastie. Really, really good design. Like it quite a bit. Not that these are bad. I just feel like the AXP is a better skid plate. If you're looking for a skid plate / linkage guard, I hope that helps in your search. I've had a few of them now, and I got to give it up to this AXP. Just really good build quality. Anyhow, hope you have a great